Hi guys, so welcome to your Winter Warrior training. So the purpose of this is to help you get the most out of the upcoming months. So from this recording, we're just entered October and it's already quite cold. The darker nights are here, the darker mornings. It's been quite wet and miserable this week already, and I've definitely noticed a difference with everyone's motivation levels. Everyone's been struggling with a bit of kind of low energy, low motivation, struggling to get out of bed in the morning. So this is basically what we're going to be talking about throughout this training: ways to combat all these kind of struggles and try and make the most out of the upcoming months. Also, there's a lot of things to be excited about, but it can be quite hard. Also, Christmas will seem far away. There might be lots of social events and stuff coming up, which are things that you're going to want to look forward to. But if you've got particular physique, weight loss goals, fitness goals, then they might feel like they're going to be either overtaken by all these social events coming up, you feel like you might be set back by them, or you're just going to lose motivation and interest in these goals and actually put an effort in to reach them. So we want to make sure that we're taking action early on, as the weather changes and it gets colder and all the rest of it, rather than leaving it until your motivation really does wane and you've got nothing in place to kind of help you pull that back, and you're already kind of at that point, well, as well sacking it until the new year. We don't want to do that. We want you to be making the most out of all these months, because even when it gets into the new year, it'll be really difficult after all the buzz of Christmas and New Year. And then it's like, oh God, there's actually nothing really happening just now. We all know that January and February are rubbish months. They're probably the worst months of the year. So if you've already got really good habits built in, you might have a class December, and then you are ready to just pick up where you left off in January, rather feel like you're having to start from scratch. And you will be kicking yourself every year. People do it. They go, why didn't I just keep up the hard work the last few months? And then it means that when they do go into January, it's not such a struggle. Okay, so we just want to make sure you're doing everything you can to get the most out of the next few months. Doesn't mean that you're like, I think we should also go with expectations that we're not going to necessarily achieve amazing results, or that it's going to be the best months of your life. You're going to be fully focused. You want to make sure that you're enjoying all the social events and all the build up to Christmas and things like that, and Halloween and all the rest of it. Doesn't mean you can't get good results, but you should manage your expectations. If December is normally a crazy month for you, whether it's finishing up work projects and things like that, I know that can get really hectic in the lead up to Christmas trying to get things finished, or whether it is just kind of social things like lots of stuff for your kids or your family, loved ones, work dues, catching up with friends, and all the rest of it. It can be a lot of pressure and a lot of stress that goes along with it, as well as a lot of fun. And we want to make sure that exercise and working out and training and eating well is going to be your outlet. So not just like make sure you're keeping in line with your goals, but also make sure that you're going to be taking care of yourself, you're staying healthy, try to battle off bugs and colds and flus and all the rest of it this time of year, and keeping your spirits high, keeping your mental health protected as best we can through diet, exercise, and well-being. So let's get a wee look at let's we thing we've got here. There we go. So this is your Winter Warrior slides. So we'll start off obviously kind of outlining the struggles that I've just talked about. So the struggle is real. Don't feel like you're struggling alone. Everyone is going through the same kind of feelings. I think this time of year, everyone's starting to feel colder. They're starting to feel a bit meh, bit demotivated. It's as if, right, summer's over and this is it. This is us for the next few months. And it can be quite tough. To kind of pull ourselves together and just keep doing what we're doing, or get stuck back in if you've been away on holiday and stuff and you're back now. It can be hard to get back into routine. So it is totally normal to feel a bit low when the weather changes, and to feel a bit demotivated. It can be more difficult to get things done, to stick to routine, to push yourself and be motivated. Like I said, it's the darker mornings. If you're maybe one for getting up and go to the gym first thing in the morning and you're looking out and you're in your bed and you can hear the rain battering off the window, you can hear the wind, you can see that it's still dark outside. The temptation to just stay in your bed, curl up under the duvet and just patch your workout is obviously so much more appealing. Opposite goes if you're normally one that works out after work. If you maybe go to the gym or do classes or go for walks or something, you're finished in your work and you're like, am I going to go out in the piss and rain? Am I going to go and force myself to get that workout done when really all I want to do is go home, get my jammies on, have my dinner and curl up on the sofa. It's tough, isn't it? Like, you wouldn't be human if you don't find that quite difficult to choose between the two. So it is definitely much more difficult to talk ourselves into getting workouts done. And yeah, just know you're not alone. The majority of your clients that I've spoken to, even just this week, I've definitely noticed a difference in people's kind of energy levels and effort and stuff. Everybody's feeling a bit of a dip, and just feeling a bit meh. And that's totally normal. But obviously, let me know how you're feeling if you're struggling with motivation and things like that. Obviously, I'm here to kind of help pep you up and remind you what it is that you're here for. I mean, I can't give you motivation. That does have to come from you. There's only so much that I can do. You do need to keep yourself accountable as well and force yourself to get those workouts done when you're not with me, or making sure you're not off like frequently cancelling PT sessions and things like that, because you will feel worse for it. Also, there's times like if you're sick and stuff, at this time of year it can't be helped, but where possible, just force yourself to get the work done, and reach out to others in the group for support. That's what the whole Facebook group and stuff is there for. If you're needing help, then share it with the gang. Everybody, like I said, everybody's going through the same, so there'll probably be people who appreciate you mentioning that, because everyone, like I said, is going through the same thing. And then on a wee important note here, there is obviously a difference between feeling a bit low and feeling depressed. So there's only so much that I can do this side of things. If you are genuinely struggling on a mental health side of things and whatever, then make sure you speak to a health professional if you are struggling. Okay, look after yourselves and each other. Right, so these are the struggles. So these are the most frequent ones that we kind of come across. So I'm just going to move myself out the way here. Go up here, in the middle. So first of all, low mood. Struggling with, like I said, just feeling a bit rubbish, feeling a bit demotivated, feeling a bit, out of sorts, not feeling like yourself. It's not saying feeling depressed, and I'm not even really talking about, the seasonal disorder sad. This is more just feeling a bit meh, feeling a bit rubbish, feeling a bit gutted that it's winter and there's nothing really to look forward to right now. I personally quite enjoy October. It's my birthday month, and I feel like there's a lot always going on for me this time of year. So I quite enjoy when the seasons change at first. It is definitely for me, November's a struggle, and January and February are the worst. But I know that for a lot of people, as soon as it gets into like September, October, you're just dreading winter coming, and you can feel the difference with your mood. And it can impact everything when you're just feeling a bit rubbish. It really does. It can influence all your decisions, from what you eat to how often you socialise to going out and being active. It can have a huge impact. So that's why we're including that one. No motivation, again, we can't rely on motivation alone. Hopefully we build good enough habits and routines that you don't need to rely on motivation, and you rely instead on the good routines that you've built up. So like I says, the can't get out of bed thing. If you've got a really solid morning routine, you just get up and go, then that's amazing, and it's really going to pay off for you going into the winter months, because you're not having to rely on feeling motivated to get up and do a workout, because motivation comes and goes, and it's really through the floor this time of year. So if you have been relying on motivation and being buzzed because, oh, I love getting up when it's nice outside, but as soon as winter comes and you're like, do you know what, I just can't face that rain, or whatever it might be, then your motivation is going to really hold you back. So we need to do something about that. Low energy, same as low mood. If you're just feeling tired, it's because the darker nights come in earlier, and we just want to go up the road and go to our beds. It's definitely a true thing, and you just feel a lot less energized. You feel less inclined to go and do things because you feel tired, feel a bit sluggish, maybe not getting enough daylight, maybe you're not eating well enough as well, and that's kind of affecting your energy. If like your low mood has caused you to kind of look towards comfort food a bit more, or food that isn't necessarily as nutritionally beneficial for you, then that's going to impact your energy levels as well. So be mindful of that. Can't get out of bed, like I said, you just don't want to go out and face the weather. You don't want to get out your nice warm bed into the cold room, or go and get changed and go and get your gym gear on. It is really hard. Same with struggling with diet. We do just tend to want more, high calorie foods this time of year, comfort foods. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, obviously everything in moderation, but if you've got particular goals that you want to achieve, if you're maybe being in a calorie deficit and you keep going, you keep rummaging for looking for chocolate and all these kind of things, and just kind of high calorie foods, then it's definitely going to hold you back. So we've got to make sure that you're eating well, you're eating enough, and you're eating good foods that are going to keep you satisfied at this time of year. So the low energy one, so let's start off on this. So she looks more hungover than anything, to be honest. She doesn't look tired. She looks absolutely dog rough, but that picture, I thought that was the best one I could get. So yeah, being active is going to help you majorly, which sounds a bit duh. And when you're low energy, it's the last thing you want to do is be active. But inactivity breeds inactivity. The more inactive you are, the less likely you are to go and do anything. So do you ever have like a day where you just wake up and you don't really, it might be even like on a weekend or something, you might have all the good intentions, but you wake up kind of slob about, and then you can't really be arsed doing anything the rest of the day. You just feel a bit kind of meh, and you think, oh, do you know what, I've started off the day not doing anything, I'm just going to keep doing absolutely hee-haw today. And that's so true. The less we move, then the less inclined we are to move. If we've been sitting about all day and we're like, oh, do you know, I just can't be bothered getting up and moving about now. And it's very true. If you're always up and on your feet and dashing about and then you're just keeping yourself active, you're keeping yourself going, you don't need to think about it so much. So try and keep yourself active. It's like if you've been away on holiday or something, coming back to your exercise routine is really difficult because you've just been away from that routine and you're not used to it. And the hardest part is the first workout, getting back into it. Once you're back and moving again, then it encourages just to keep get things going, get you back in the swing of things. So try and just keep yourself moving throughout the day, whether it's getting up frequently, walking about your house, or getting yourself outdoors. Just try and keep yourself moving as much as you can, because then it just encourages, it snowballs, and the more you move, the more likely you are to keep yourself moving. Make sure you get enough sleep and rest. That tends to be a given this time of year because I think we're more likely to go to our beds early. We're not really up and out and about late. We're not really sitting out at restaurants or things that we would have been doing during the summer or during the week especially. We're just kind of finishing work and doing whatever, whether we go to the gym or just going home, and we're not really out and about as much. So we do tend to go to our beds a little bit more early, a little bit earlier. But rest as well. In terms of recovering from your workouts, make sure you're getting enough rest and recovery. Also, make sure, this is going to be a busy time of the year coming up to Christmas. Make sure you are giving yourself time to rest, having a bit of time to yourself to unwind and relax. Make sure you're kind of doing mobility work, stretching, and just taking care of your body when you're not working out. It doesn't mean to say that you just sit and do nothing for the rest of the day after you've been to the gym. You obviously need to keep yourself moving enough and being active enough on a daily basis, but you want to make sure you're sleeping well and resting, and that's again going to stop you from getting sick as well. If you're quite run down, you're not sleeping, and you're constantly rushing about a million miles an hour, then that's not going to do your immune system any favours. Make sure you're managing your stress. Like I said, there's a lot of commitments coming up this time of year. You can feel like you're getting dragged in every direction, every which way. A lot of demands on your time. You might have friends, family, all that are kind of wanting to spend time with you, work night outs and things like that. So make sure you're managing your stress levels. If you've got lots of work projects coming up, look ahead in your schedule and see what you have got coming up, and make sure you put time for yourself. Because if you just feel like you're chasing your tail all the time, you're not going to be able to pay enough attention to your own well-being. You're probably going to fall behind on your workouts. You're not going to be eating well. You're not going to be making time to go for good food shops and things like that and prep your foods. So you'll end up just totally running yourself down, which we don't want. And then supplements. I just fired this one in because I'm obviously not qualified to prescribe supplements and stuff to people, but I just thought I would recommend some that I take that I find quite useful. So in the morning, I would normally have a vitamin C tablet, one of the wee fizzy ones that you put in your water. I have omega-3, just because the fish oils might be really healthy for your joints. I also take vitamin D because this time of year there's not a lot of sunlight, so it just makes sure that you're keeping that up. And then if you're getting enough vitamin D, then it's going to help your energy levels a lot. I definitely recommend, that's even on the NHS website, especially in this country, it recommends that everybody takes vitamin D all through the year apparently, but especially in winter. What else I take? I take like a Active Women's multivitamin from Myprotein. I just take one like a wee multivitamin, and then before I go to bed at night, I take magnesium, and that's just apparently to help with muscle recovery. It kind of is meant to prevent DOMS, and that actually helps me get a really good sleep, funnily enough. So those are ones that I would recommend. Well, that I say that I take that I find have been quite good, and I've definitely felt a difference with vitamin D, taking that, especially over winters. Vitamin C is quite a nice one to take in the morning. The omega-3s, I've taken them from years, just because there's a history of like arthritis and stuff in my family as well. And just do what you can to look after the joints. And then the magnesium one as well. You will get weird dreams, I will say that, when you first start taking them. I have mental dreams, but then after a week or so, it just calms down. So that's quite a common side effect. If anyone does get it, it's totally normal. Next one, low mood. So it's a hard one to try and perk yourself up when you are in a bit of a funk, especially when something as major as like the weather's changing and stuff. There's nothing you can do about that. You just need to kind of have a word with yourself and do as much as you can to make yourself feel better. You will need to be quite proactive. You'll need to put a bit more effort in. It's not going to be as easy to just get up and do a workout and go for a walk in the nice sunshine. You're definitely going to need to put a bit more work in from that side of things. But yeah, get yourself outside, get that natural daylight as much as you can. Probably waiting to go for a walk when the sun comes up, or when it's not as dark first thing in the morning, or going for a walk in the evening. If you can, even just get yourself out for a wee 10 minutes, break up your day, whether you go on your lunch break or something. That would be really, really beneficial, just to get yourself some fresh air, get yourself away from your desk, away from your phone, away from any stresses and distractions, and just take yourself for a walk, get a bit of movement, fresh air, get some daylight. It'll hopefully help boost your mood and top up some vitamin D as much as you can. Keep yourself warm. I am miserable when I'm cold. If you were with me training during all the lockdowns and stuff, and we were in the gym and the windows were open and it was absolutely Baltic, it was just the worst time ever for me. It was absolutely awful. Trying to, like, I must have just held on to cups of coffee and tea all day to try and keep myself warm. Had those wee microwave hand warmers, a million layers, and you're still freezing cold, and your whole body seizes up. You just want to be home and heated up, and it's not a nice feeling at all. So keep yourself warm as much as you can. If you are cold, you don't really want to move about when you're cold, which sounds like the complete opposite, because the one thing that will heat you up is getting yourself moving about, doing a workout, get a sweat on, but you just don't want to do it. You don't, the thought of taking off your jumper and you're just got your workout gear on, oh my god, it's not fun. So try and keep yourself as warm as you can, layer up, get those walks, and just get all the layers on as much as you can and keep yourself warm. Make time for loved ones. That was actually on the NHS website. I think I saw that one, when it's all about kind of boosting your moods and making sure that you are socializing, because it will boost your mood when you're spending time with people that you love and that you enjoy your company. So that is a really important one. I just thought I would put that in there. It's not necessarily fitness, but it is still important. And we're all kind of a bit less sociable, I suppose. In winter, we're hibernating away and we're hiding in our houses, and we don't really want to come out. We don't really want to go out on a Saturday night and stand waiting in a taxi queue and all the rest of it, pissing down the rain. But yeah, still make sure you meet up with people, and use the group as well for that kind of social aspect. If you're in like a walking buddy or something like that, then everybody's kind of accessible there. You can message someone or message a friend, even if you just want to go for a walk with them. That could be really good for boosting your mood. And obviously talking and letting people know how you're feeling and what's going on with you is a really important thing as well. And then eat healthily. So if you're not eating very nutritional stuff, as I said earlier, then that can really impact your mood. It'll make you feel a bit sluggish, a bit groggy, a bit ugh. So if you're eating, your fruit, your veg, make sure you eat plenty of fibre. If you're not looking after your gut health, that can really have an impact on your mood. So make sure your digestion is moving well. And yeah, eating enough food that's going to help keep you full and satisfied, and warm. Hopefully eat hot foods that's going to heat you up. Struggling with diet. So this is a major one in winter. A lot of us are influenced by the weather on how we eat. So I think we can safely say salad season is over. The last thing I ever want to eat in winter is a salad. It's just a no-go for me. I would much rather have soup, things like that. This is when you want to be looking at all the recipe packs and the guides and look for like the slow cooker recipes, or like the one pot wonders where you just fling all the ingredients into the one dish, making casseroles and like hearty food that's going to really kind of boost your mood, make you feel good, make you feel full, heat you up, and is just going to nourish your body as well and fill you with good things. So yeah, you're going to be craving comfort food. it's going to be so easy to be like, oh, I can't be bothered cooking. I just want to get a takeaway or get something that's probably not going to be as nutritionally beneficial for you. Maybe not necessarily going to be in line with your goals. It might not make you feel very good actually. Once you've had it, you might feel a bit bloated, a bit uncomfortable, a bit yucky from overeating. Maybe you want to be eating lots of chocolate. You might be reaching for snacks, especially coming up to Halloween and stuff and Christmas. There's just chocolate everywhere in the shops and all these kind of high calorie foods, and it's hard to avoid them. People start bringing things into your work and all the rest of it. So it might start to feel like it's a lot more difficult to not indulge or overindulge in these foods, and you'll start to crave comfort food just because it's cold and if your mood's a bit low and things like that, you might be more inclined to go for these things. So make sure you're eating foods that you enjoy, and that will make it less likely for you to overeat comfort foods. So eat, like I said, hearty meals that have got plenty of protein. I've got this here, filling meals full of protein, because that's going to, again, keep you fuller for longer, stop you snacking on things that aren't really going to help you out, and make sure you're having hot meals that are going to keep you feeling warm, because like I said before, when you're cold, you're less likely to make you're more likely to make poorer food decisions. So yeah, make sure you're eating foods that you like and that you're not over restricting yourself or just having foods that are fitness foods or whatever, or that you're not starving yourself, you're not eating way below your calories. Make sure you're eating things that you actually enjoy, and then you're not going to feel like you're losing out on anything or that you're kind of missing out when it comes to your diet. Can't get out of bed, so that's a major one because it's hard. That is really difficult in winter. Excuse me. To force yourself out your bed. It's the last thing you want to do. Make sure you don't snooze, because you snooze, you lose. It is so true. If you're one for getting up and working out in the morning and you hit snooze, you're done. Basically, like, how long have you actually got at your disposal in the morning to snooze for? Not long. You can maybe get a wee 10 minutes, but then when you start kind of nodding off, you might start falling into a deep sleep again. And then when you kind of get woken up by that horrible alarm, you'll feel all disorientated. You'll probably feel a bit groggy. You might start to get a headache. And then you're just like, oh, do you know, I'm absolutely not getting out of my bed. Cuddle back under the duvet. And then that's it. Your window is gone. And then as the day goes on, how likely is it that you're going to work out after work? Generally, people that work out in the morning do so because they can't work out in the evening, or they prefer not to. So if you are going to be struggling to get up in the morning to work out, you leave it all day, and then come the evening, you're finished your work. Are you going to do a workout, or are you just going to stay in the house? So what's it going to be? Try not to snooze. Just turn that alarm off and get up out your bed. Put your phone on the other side of your room or something, so you need to get out your bed to go and turn it off. Make your bed straight away so that you can't go back into it. Maybe get a light alarm like I've put there. I don't know what the actual name of them is, but it's like those alarms that people that have SAD can get, and it naturally has it's meant to be natural daylight that it replicates of like the sun rising. So if you get an alarm set for a certain time, then it will get brighter and brighter and brighter, and that's meant to wake you up. And it might be a bit more pleasant than a meh, meh kind of alarm noise waking you up in the morning. So that might be a good idea to use one of those instead. Might be a more pleasant way to wake you up, and you won't feel as like rudely awakened in the morning. It might be a bit more pleasant experience. Nail your morning routine. So have something set out in place in the morning. You don't need to have a big elaborate routine that takes you 2 hours to get through. It could be something as simple as a 10-minute thing that you do every morning. So it could be tying in doing something nice for yourself in the morning. So I know that if there's a client and she likes to get up and get a cup of coffee in the morning and take it back to her bed, and she'll sit and drink her coffee, and then she gets excuse me. So she likes to do that in the morning. She takes her coffee, sits in bed, finishes her coffee, and then she's up and ready to see the day. But that's quite a nice thing to do. And if you've got time to do that, then that's amazing. It could just take you a wee 10 minutes to do that. If you're someone that really struggles to get out of your bed, however, that might not be a good idea, because if you go back to your bed with your coffee, you might not be getting back out of it again. But yeah, it could be something as simple as that. It could be having like a nice skincare routine that you do. You could do a nice little stretch routine. It could be even just getting up and making yourself a nice breakfast, whatever it might be. Just have something in place that you do every morning that gets you out your bed as well. Okay, you might listen to a podcast, or you might have a wee morning playlist that kind of perks you up and gets you set up for the day. You might just get up and go for a walk or a run. You might make sure you get up and go straight to the gym, or book yourself in for a class, or book yourself in with me. Whatever it is you do, try and have something nice in place for yourself to do in the morning, and start building your morning routine. If you don't have one already, do it just now and start practicing. It is practice. Like, it's, I'm used to getting up early now because I've done it for a year. It's part of my job. I need to be up like 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And you do get used to it. But there has been times that I've slipped into a bad routine or a bad habit of hitting snooze, and it does you no favours. It really doesn't. It's a crap way to start your day, feeling like you're chasing your tail as soon as you wake up. So get good routines set up, and it'll just make your life so much easier, especially when it starts getting colder and colder and colder. If you've already got a good routine built up, it's just going to make your life so much easier. And then the low motivation one, so that's obviously a big one. We're always going about, no matter what time of year, you can't rely on motivation alone, because it comes and goes, especially around our cycles, our time of the month and things like that. We're going to be less likely to work out, and that's once every month. So that's a week out of your month that you can't be bothered working out if your motivation's low, or just obviously going by the weather and things like that. It can have a really big impact. So make sure, obviously there's lots of exciting things to come, focus on them, and think every time you've got, workouts and stuff to do, and you can't be bothered. If you've got particular goals, if you're thinking, I want to be looking great come December because I know Fee's going to be bringing up my calories, like I've got here, I'm pretty much want to make sure everyone is at least maintenance calories in December. I don't want anyone to be dieting in December unless you spoke to me and we've got different goals. But for the majority of you, we're going to be bringing up your calories for December, because trying to maintain a deficit is not easy in this month, especially with all the stuff that's going on. So remember, you've got exciting things coming up. We've got Christmas, Halloween, all these kind of things. You might have some birthdays, celebrations, whatever it is. There's lots of things that are going to be coming your way that are really fun and exciting. So look forward to these things and use them to remind you of why you're doing what you're doing. You're like, I'm going to smash October, November. It's going to be difficult, but I know that it's going to be worth it, because come December, my calories are going to go up and I'm going to have a really good time. I won't need to worry about, undoing all my hard work or anything like that, because the hard work's been done and now I can take a wee break and just enjoy myself. So keep reminding yourself of that when it is feeling quite difficult. Remind yourself of all the exciting things you've got coming up. You want to feel great in your party dress or whatever it might be for your Christmas night out, or on Christmas Day. You want to have feeling confident and amazing in your pictures with your family and friends and whatever. And if you've got nights out coming up with friends and stuff, you want to be able to pick out nice things to wear, whatever it might be. So do the hard work just now, get stuck in through the next couple of months, and then know that come December you're feeling great. And then after all the festivities in January, you're not having to start from scratch. You've laid a really good foundation in the build up to Christmas and all that kind of thing, the festive period, and then you just get stuck back in again in January. Okay. Focus on those, keep reminding yourself of those, don't get bogged down too much in the day-to-day stuff. Just say, there's lots of fun stuff coming up, and try and enjoy obviously your training as much as you can. Make sure, that's why I'm saying eating food you enjoy your diet, enjoy the process as much as you can. Get a walking buddy, that might help you out, so that'll tie in with the social thing, spending time with loved ones. If you've got a friend that you want to catch up with, there's nothing wrong with meeting them for a walk, grabbing a coffee and getting a catch up as you walk. That was always a good thing about the lockdowns, was that was the only way that we could socialise with people, was going for a walk outside. So bring that back. If you're meeting up with someone, then go for a walk with them, or you could go to a fitness class or something, and use that to socialise or do an activity together. It doesn't always necessarily have to be forking out money and going for meals, going for dinner, going for cocktails or whatever. You can do something for free. Happy days. And if you're struggling for a walking buddy, or maybe if you're feeling like your motivation's going to be stuck that week, or you've got a really busy week coming up, you think, if I schedule in a walk, it means I get it done on that day, otherwise it's going to be hectic, then message, shout out in the Facebook group, MD free this week for a walk, or MD free this week for a workout, get a training buddy. Things like that will really help, and it helps keep you accountable. You don't want to be cancelling on your pals all the time. So try and incorporate a bit of a social aspect into these things as well. Training in the morning is going to be a lot easier, because at least that's it done, and we've got less time to talk ourselves out of it. If you've got a full day and you know you're training in the evening, you might just like, oh, do you know what, I could just go up the road, I need to make the dinner, oh, I should really go home and finish this wee bit of work, oh, I need to go and put all the washings on, I need to do this, I need to do that. We can talk ourselves out of it so easily, like it does not take much. So if you've got the full day to talk yourself out of it, it's so much easier. Whereas if you get up in the morning, get that workout done, it's taken care of, and you can just enjoy the rest of the day without worrying about getting that workout in later. And then the one about getting a new hobby, that's just something that can keep your interest during the winter. You know, we've not got, maybe you're someone that's quite outdoorsy and it's going to be a lot more difficult to do some hobbies. So if you take up something else, that will keep you interested. It'll give you an activity, something to look forward to, something you enjoy. Again, might be something that's quite sociable, or something that you just do for yourself. You know, if you take up a new hobby, it's going to keep you excited, keep you interested, and should help perk up you motivation wise. Right, so what's next? A little takeaway then from that training. So you've just got to bite the bullet and nail your routine just now. So make your life as easier as possible for future you by, you know, putting present you through the paces. Just really try and nail your routines, get used to prepping foods, look out some good recipes that you're going to add into your rotation over the next few months, and just start planning ahead. Like I said, look at what things you've got coming up in your social calendar, like big night out or Christmas night out, all that kind of thing. You can get drinks with friends, get them in your diary and say, right, this week is going to be a bit mental. I've got lots of work projects, I've started lots of deadlines going on, got lots of stuff for the kids, especially at festive times. They've got all the wee Christmas concerts and things like that on. You might have lots of stuff coming up with your pals. You might even have a holiday or something coming up this time of year or some time off. So try and get yourself as organised as you can, plan out your year and, well, the rest of the year, I suppose, the next few winter months, because otherwise you'll just struggle through the rest of winter. And like it says, it's practically the next 6 months. So if we're in October just now, November, December, January, February, and March can be a bit iffy. I'd normally count that as winter, to be fair. So the next 6 months, if you get the work done just now, imagine where you can be by April. Now, that would give you such a good head start, because before you know it, although we're talking about Christmas just now and you're rolling your eyes like, it's only October, before you know it, we're going to be talking about summer holidays and the summer bodies and getting our bikini bodies ready and blah, blah, blah. So imagine where you're going to be by April. You could give yourself such a good head start just now by getting your shit together, get planning the now, get some good routines sorted, and then come April, you're already in a solid routine. You might just need to do a few bits and bobs to get yourself straightened out in the lead up to your summer holidays. Could you imagine how good that would be, that you're not actually dreading a holiday coming up because you've put the work in over winter? And it is so true what they say. It's mega corny, but summer bodies are built in the winter. It's very, very true. So put the hard work in the now. Nobody's seeing you really. We're all going to be hibernating away. We might as well get stuck in and focus on ourselves as much as we can and enjoy the festive period. There's going to be plenty of distractions then. And then come January, we're all skint and miserable anyway. So we as well just getting back into good routines again. So yeah, a bit more effort for the short term is going to be a really big long-term reward. And you can absolutely do it. I'm here to help you out. If you're ever struggling, obviously talk to us all, reach out to people, let me know how you're getting on as well. If there are things like that we've mentioned just there that you are struggling with, or you need a little bit more specific help with it, then I'll be more than happy to help you. But always refer back to this video whenever you feel like you're struggling a little bit. Watch us back. It's not particularly long. Or just remember, like, pick out what bits are kind of relevant to you and see how you can build better habits to carry you through the next few months. Because you can absolutely do it. You'll be fine. It's just going to require a little bit of effort, but you'll get there. Okay, guys. So here's to a good one. There is lots of exciting things coming up. There's a lot to look forward to. It is just going to be a little bit of adjustment this time of year. So if you are feeling a little bit low in your mood and on your energy and your motivation and stuff, it's totally normal. But you do need to give yourself a shake and kind of perk yourself back up again, because it's just going to be a long slog of a winter otherwise.